morning or good evening or good afternoon to anybody who will watch this and know your Z. You know, Wagwan people. Big up. Thanks to everybody that's been subscribing to the channel lately. Even though when I first started, I wasn't really focusing on doing the videos for the subscription, but it's it feels different, when say that many people listening to you. Well, yeah, man, we're gonna dive into some CBDC news right now from Bank of America, who said CBDC could revolutionize global financial system. This article is coming from decrypt.com and or .co, and it's written by Max Copson, January 22, 2023. And then claims that this is a 7-minute read. So at least 114 central banks representing 58% of all countries, which generate 95% of global GDP, are now exploring central bank digital currency (CBDC), up from 35 in May 2020. And a team of cryptocurrency analysts from Bank of America is unabashedly bullish on the tech. So digital currency appear inevitable. A new research report from Bank of America concludes, we view distributed ledgers and digital currencies such as CBDC and stablecoin as a natural evolution of today's monetary and payment system. And guys, don't forget the Bank of America is on the Ripple system. Ripple. All right. So the report includes analysis of CBDC potential benefits and risk, both in their issuance and non-issuance, as well as potential approaches to their distribution. As a part of a study, there are also several case studies in CBDC development and challenges within specific economic blocks and nation. Some key observations from the analysis revolve around the current financial system, antiquated infrastructure, and numerous inefficiency issues that properly developed CBDCs might solve instantly. Right? So CBDC benefit for banks and the unbanked. And we all know so XRP is going for the bank, and we all know so XLM Stellar is going for the unbank. So here, CBDC potential to remove intermediaries once the technology makes them redundant could bring about real-time settlement, complete transaction transparency, and lower costs, the report states. The analysis point to an estimated 4 trillion of the capital that banks are required to deposit in corresponding banks in order to remove settlement risk. The study argues that this is an inefficient capital allocation that could otherwise be generated yield elsewhere. Furthermore, less capitalized banks and payment service providers cannot expand into cross-border payments. The research report argues due in part of the requirement to pre-fund accounts at corresponding banks. See, that makes sense, and hence why Ripple has online liquidity. Most of these banks can front these money for the mass market that they're in, right? Hence why they fail and scam and all them thing there, right? So what? You need ODL. In reality, cross-border payments are routed through 2.6 different corresponding banks on average, increasing time to settlement. The report notes, however, 20% of euro-dominated cross-border payments required to involve 5+ corresponding banks. The result, cross-border payment costs 10 times more than domestic payments. The researchers also predict that CBDC adoption will positively impact the unbanked population. Why? Because it's easier to have your bank on your phone than to get up and walk, or get up and run, or get up on, as much as walking is good for you and running is good for you, a lot of people live in the remote area that can't get to a bank. So in cases like that, The money is there, accessible to you at all times, 24/7. When the bank closed down, the money on your phone is still available, right? So which is 1.4 billion people worldwide. So let's do this again. Research. The research also predict that CBDC adoption will positively impact the unbanked population, which is 1.4 billion people worldwide and 6.5% of the US population, according to the 2021 figures from the US Federal Reserve. So the unbanked cannot access standard financial services nor have pathways to building their credit history. As a result, they face increased separation from their wealth, e.g., reliance on payday loan services that offer only subpar terms and conditions. And don't forget about the high-ass loan fees that they cost. The borrow fee that they charge you a month, that's crazy. I pass by Western Union or MoneyGram enough time and them I say, oh, get your payday loan. But when you look for the interest, you're like, when they can't keep that the payday loan, they keep that payday loan. If a CBDC wallet was developed to fulfill basic financial service such as being able to hold, send, and receive funds, as well as establishing credit history and providing credit score, this disparity could be almost entirely eliminated. A CBDC is accessible to those with bank accounts and smartphones, would increase the bank population from 93.6% of households to 96.7% in the US. And guys, I know that might not seem, the 3% might not seem like a lot, but it's a lot. Trust me, even if them get 1%, it's a lot. The report claims removing the need for a smartphone would increase the bank population to 98.98%. So if they are going to remove the bank, they are going to remove the smartphone idea, what are they going to replace it with? Because majority of people have their phone in their hands. People even sleep with the phone in their hand. People sleep with the phone on their bedside. You see it, right? So I don't know what are they going to replace the phone with? If you have that answer, let me know. Let me see if there's more reading to do. CBDC versus stablecoins. The report also includes a few words about the role stablecoins could play in CBDC adoption, noting the significant growth in stablecoin transaction volume over the past 2 years, which reached $7.9 trillion in 2022. The proliferation of stablecoins for cross-border and domestic payments and transfer could inhibit a central bank's ability to implement monetary policy if growth remains unchecked and unregulated, as well as increase systemic risk. The report's authors state, quote, in some cases, loss of monetary control could lead to inflation significantly above current central bank targets, unquote. Because their control still perform favorable compared to some traditional financial system, the analyst says they expect stablecoin adoption to use for payments to increase the absence of CBDCs as financial institutions explore digital assets custody and trading solution. So should issuing a CBDC take too long, however, the research worry about stablecoin could proliferate even further into cross-border and even domestic payments. Allowing stablecoins to become entrenched will increase systematic risk in the traditional market and impede a central bank's ability to implement monetary policy. The report does entertain a future in which both stablecoin and CBDCs can coexist. According to the analysts, stablecoins will likely continue to excel in certain use cases, especially when smart contracts are evolved, which is a big thing for the Stellar blockchain. However, just a few lines later, the researchers suggest that stablecoins are not long for this world. Are not long for this world. So, CBDC design or programmability will likely determine the level of future stablecoin adoption and usage. The report states, we also, quote, we also note that the potential for CBDC to displace stablecoins largely depend on the former being interoperable with blockchains and blockchains based applications. So look out, Tether. Here they come. So the risk for banks and policy. So after 6 pages exploring the potential benefits of CBDC, the Bank of America analysts turned to the potential risk of issuing and not issuing CBDC. Topping the list of risk, the potential competition between commercial banks such as Bank of America and the central bank. According to the analysis, CBDCs are in some ways superior to bank accounts as stores of value, particularly during times of crisis. Hence why, you see this threat? Do you see the threat? Hence why Gary Gensler has announced that SWIFT will be blocking transaction lower than $100,000 on certain exchanges to buy into these blockchains. Guys, they're trying to kill this technology because they realize that this technology is coming to replace them. They cannot control it. They're going to try to control it, and when they can't control it, they're going to try to kill it, and then when they can't kill it, they're going to join it. Guys, we've seen this coming for 10 years now once Bitcoin announced its existence. Though commercial banks and central banks currently exist in a two-tier system, CBDC could blur the demarcation lines. According to the report, if commercial banks and customers are able to swiftly and easily transfer their savings out of the commercial bank into the central bank, how would a commercial bank be able to continue borrowing and lending their customers funds? Right. All right. See? So these guys been making money off of us for years, but here come a technology that's going to give back to the people as long as the people invest in it at an early point. Give back to the people, and they're trying to kill it, obviously, because you're taking money out of their pockets. Anyway, indeed, the analysis' second ranked risk is that bank runs could occur more frequently if safeguards are not included in a CBDC design. Of course, we're all for safeguards, right? So during times of stress in the banking system, people could withdraw deposits and exchange them from CBDCs, given that there is no credit or liquidity risk of distributed with the direct and hybrid approaches. Increasing financial stability risk, they write. Apart from potential collapse of the commercial banking industry, the researchers grapple with two important questions. How will government convince their citizens to use its CBDC? And what will governments be capable of if and when they do it? So, of course, we know that the government's going to use their tax. Any type of tax, filing taxes, you're going to be doing it through the CBDC technology system, right? And that's millions of people. And when you add up all the different countries, that's close to billions of people, even probably over a billion of people who file their taxes every year across the world. More than a billion people. So, hey, that's the best case scenario to start with, is to get people to do their taxes through CBDC. Paychecks is another one too as well. Paychecks, guys, you're gonna be getting your paychecks in your CBDC. A lot of people might not, like that at first, but some companies, I believe, is gonna start doing that. Not everybody's gonna roll out that idea. These are just speculation, guys. Okay. What else would be a test net? You're gonna see testnet all over the world. In your city, in your local city, you're gonna see testnet. Of course, if you're not reading and you're not looking into these information, when these testnet goes up, you're not gonna see them. You're not see them. It's gonna just roll right underneath your nose. So here I am telling you the good news of the digital world that is upon us. It's coming in. It's already started. It's already happening. It's just not on a wide scale. And the attention that was brought up on crypto ever since I've had my attention to it, it's way more now. It's way past 50%, right? So, guys, just wanted to share. Thank you for your time. Thank you for taking the time to come out and hang out with me on this Saturday. You know me, I say. And look. We have more reading for read, man. Here, and a large scale policy rollouts will almost certainly be a price meal. The analysts concede prone, 4% on my phone here. Prone to graphies and married by controversy. Even countries have already issued CBDC, and the largest central banks around the world are either exploring designs or launching pilot phase. Remember, I told you that people already started this already. According to the analysis, the first CBDC were designed mainly for retail banking use and were issued by central banks of developing economies in an attempt to broaden social financial inclusion in the absence of a commercial banking sector. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank (CBDC), one of the 11th first-generation attempts, faced a crippling setback after the platform crashed in January 2022 and was unable to facilitate transactions for 2 months. Adoption and usage of this ECCB's CBDC have been largely uninspired so far, according to the analysis. Issuance and adoption are not symptoms, and adoption is not guaranteed, they wrote. So central banks are no doubt paying attention to the success and failures of this inaugural class of CBDCs. Meanwhile, as central banks and governments are prepared for the launch of the next gen CBDCs, the Bank of America analysis worried that mainstream adoption of CBDC could face backlash over privacy concerns. Of course, potential headwinds to CBDC adoption could result from the loss of privacy and anonymity that the public enjoys with physical cash, and authors concede. For this, the analysis suggests a policy-based compromise. Of course, a lot of people are going to worry about the privacy-based issue, but look, a lot of people are swiping their cards, not caring. Swipe, swipe, gone about the business. Swipe, swipe, gone about the business. No, a lot of people will be complaining about not being able to carry around their cash and having that privacy, but majority of people, I believe, is already swiping. So anyway, payments using CBDC can remain anonymous if a legal framework exists providing a central bank or government the right to trace transaction if they are in indications of criminal activity, tax evasion, money laundering, or terrorism financing. They write. But purely anonymous payments are anathema to central banks. However, the researchers go on to emphasize that any perceived or legitimate invasion of privacy might push the public to reevaluate the policy initiative and possibly result in higher demand for CBDC with stronger legal protections. And there we go. And I would just like to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with me in this Saturday. Happy Saturday to everybody. You know me, I say, as we give you an update on what's going on with CBDCs, guys. I've been talking about CBDCs for the past 3 months on this channel. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and listening. You see me, I say? Yes, see what me, I say? Anyway, look more people.